I think one of the best things about modern and classic role-playing games is that sense of exploration. It's basically what brought me to tabletop games in the first place, traveling across dangerous, uncharted lands, and maybe, I don't know, ruling them. I'm an RPG fanatic and a Kingdom Sim fanatic, so the combination of both found in Pathfinder Kingmaker was really appealing to me. Unfortunately, while there's a lot going for this game, the unrelenting punishment that you'll face in this one had me ultimately asking myself if I was still having fun hours in. Pathfinder Kingmaker is based on the 6-part Kingmaker campaign developed for that glorious D&D alternative, Pathfinder. It set itself apart from other campaigns by making it part city builder. The goal of the campaign wasn't just to defeat bad guys and get treasure, you had to rule a kingdom from its infancy and be a wise and just ruler. Or, burn it all to the ground. That's really always an option with tabletop games. Those ingredients are basically tailor-made for a classic RPG-style video game adaptation, which ended up getting kickstarted into existence in 2018. And initially, there's a lot going for this game. You can play any sort of character you like. There are countless races, classes, and subclasses to choose from. You can be a good guy or a bad guy. When you get into the world, there are lots of party members to discover and recruit. You take over a new, budding civilization and have to make important decisions for the future of your people. You're a baron, but you're a get-up-and-go sort of baron, so the game is divided between the throne room and the battlefield, which is awesome. There are uncharted pieces of the map that need to be uncovered and, charted. There's tons of loot and all kinds of quests, from the personal ones to the adventures that'll make your kingdom thrive. Plus, I really liked the attitude of this game. There's a ton of that grimdark stuff out there lately, and don't get me wrong, there's plenty of room for that. But there's something sort of old-school idealistic about Kingmaker. Like a classic I'm going on an adventure theme that's become less and less common as the 80s fade into the distance. I like that. I like a game that isn't afraid to be overtly excited about slaying monsters and the like. There's something sort of pure about that. But ultimately the game got really frustrating for me due to the combat. It's so unbalanced that it made the satisfaction of all the other moving parts smaller and smaller as the game went on. And I know that might sound funny. I just went on and on about all the great things about this game and then essentially said that it was hamstrung by combat alone, and yeah. As me and my party get stronger, I'm not expecting to keep fighting twerpy little goblins forever, but the amount that the bad guys scale up in difficulty as you level feels a little out of whack. The sheer scale of the fights get crazy. It feels like every fight is 50% longer than the one that came before it. And that's where an adaptation of a paper and pencil tabletop game has its limits. If you're a dungeon master and you notice that your players are getting bored by having a knockdown, drag-out fight every 5 minutes, followed by a day of resting and healing, followed by more fights, you make some changes to keep your players engaged. And for the record, if you're a DM who doesn't adapt to your players, you're an asshole. And there were times I wish I could have had a chat with my DM during Pathfinder Kingmaker. All too often it gets boring and more than a little tedious. It gets to the point where it's actually kind of hilarious. A quest to pick up just some fruit for an NPC ends up taking forever because I'm constantly being swamped by dozens and dozens of bad guys. Fruit, people. It's not that every fight leads to the dreaded total player kill, although that has happened from time to time, but I find myself getting so frustrated that I wonder how much fun I'm actually having. And that sucks, because this game has so much working for it that it really should have been a damn home run, and maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just been my experience. So if you think everything I've described is worth it, give it a shot, but consider waiting until it's on sale. I'm just putting it out there. Chris is a moron, ladies and gentlemen.
He's a dumb boulder punching moron, and I will not have Resident Evil 5 spoilers. I don't care. Chris was on steroids at the time, and he punched a boulder. And
it was a bad time in his life.
It was a bad time.
I'm not gonna.
It was
a bad time in all of our lives, really.
Yeah.